They weren't the first to do this. It was Blake Lively, it was Ryan Reynolds. This was their strategy. And now they kind of want to put the genie back in the bottle. But guess what? The genie does not want to go back in the bottle.
Somebody revealed a source that says he had quite an experience demanding his makeup artist show up or get fired. I'll share that story for you.
That's so gross and weird and manipulative, even if it's true. It's so just, this movie somehow was a magnet for awful people. And Ryan Reynolds, by all accounts, seems like a great guy. He is acting. By all accounts, he is a total pain in the ass.
Have you ever noticed how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are constantly shoving their quirky, perfect marriage in everyone's face? Yeah, that's not an accident. That's PR 101. Control the narrative before the narrative controls you.
He's one of those guys. So they are absolute bullies.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho.
Ryan Reynolds had to do some reshoots for the movie. His makeup artist was out of the country working. Ryan Reynolds threatened to fire the makeup artist off the rest of the film and the reshoots they had to do, and also said, if you don't come back and do my makeup for these reshoots, you will never work in Hollywood again. No one knew who he was beforehand. Everyone knows who he is now. If he is a smart sociopath, he'll work that to his advantage.
Ryan used his nice pool character in Deadpool and Wolverine to mock Justin Baldoni.
Blake Lively, her brand, Ryan Reynolds' brand, have totally been tarnished by this because the world now sees them for who they are. They cannot act their way out of this.
They've spent years painting themselves as Hollywood's golden couple, the ones who do it right. But here's the thing, when you have to work that hard to convince people your marriage is great, maybe it ain't so great.
On Deadpool, where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me, but to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel. Mm-hmm. So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie. So he's riffed.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable. That I got screamed at. But because this person was number one on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, you get off my set. This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. Yes. And I looked at this person and I said, you can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again.
We know you have an ongoing feud with Ryan. Who? You know that guy. What's it going to take for him to actually be BFFs with you?
Well, I mean, in truth, there was a time in which we were.
And now, the cracks are showing, and it's all spiraling out of control. Because Justin Baldoni isn't playing along. He's exposing the side of Blake that her PR team has worked overtime to keep hidden.
And it's pretty obvious that he's not joking about not being friends with Ryan Reynolds anymore. Now you see that Jake Gyllenhaal has also unfollowed Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively. But apparently he didn't unfollow them until they had already unfollowed him.
I'm really bad at keeping a straight face around TJ Miller. Everyone knows that on our set. We lost days to me, yeah.
Justin Baldoni went from being a Hollywood nice guy to calling out Blake Lively in a legal battle that's turning ugly real fast. This isn't some petty celebrity spat. This is a full-blown Hollywood takedown with legal papers to back it up. And let's be real, when a lawsuit like this drops, it's never about just one thing. It's about a pattern.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, you know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star. But you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
Strangers describe me as extremely disloyal.
And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No.
No.
Why is Ryan doing this? And the other weird thing is, like, maybe he got, I think he's kind of an insecure dude.
The thing about myself I've learned to love is...
The thing about myself that I've learned to love is insecurity. That's a real answer, yeah, insecurity.
Baldoni isn't just accusing Blake of shady business tactics. He's pulling back the curtain on how Hollywood really works. The power plays, the career sabotage, the backdoor deals. And Blake? She's right in the middle of it. But instead of owning up, she's doubling down, because if she loses this fight, her carefully crafted image goes up in flames. And it gets worse because she's not the only one whose reputation is circling the drain.
He looks like the guy that fucked your high school girlfriend.
Sometimes I don't even know what world I live in, to be quite honest. But here is Antonio Brown announcing that he is performing at Firefest. They really should call it Firefest 1, since the first one, he literally just took his helmet off and walked off the field. He made $100 million playing football, and he's dead broke now. So now he's a rapper, and like, God bless him. It sucks.
Forward on Sunday, when are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay. So he says the clocks are springing forward on Sunday. Is that this weekend? Oh my, I'm excited for that. It's been kind of dreary. I guess that means we made it out of the worst of the winter.
You ready? There is no question that, yes, Ryan Reynolds based his Deadpool Wolverine character, Nice Pool, with the man bun, on Justin Baldoni.
Ryan Reynolds built an entire career on playing the sarcastic, lovable, smart mouth. But behind the scenes, whole different story. Hollywood insiders have been whispering for years that Reynolds is impossible to work with, controlling, egotistical, and straight up ruthless when he doesn't get his way. Morena Baccarin? Completely sidelined in Deadpool 2 after one disagreement. TJ Miller? Called out Reynolds for being weirdly mean on set. Tim Miller? The original Deadpool director, booted off the sequel because Reynolds wanted total control. And let's not forget Jake Gyllenhaal, who used to be tight with Ryan but now won't even say his name. When asked about him, Jake straight up shut down and said, "I have nothing to say about him." That's not just Hollywood drama, that's real beef. And now, with Justin Baldoni going after Blake and Ryan's empire crumbling under its own weight, Hollywood is finally starting to say what they've been thinking for years. These two aren't who they pretend to be. Blake spent years riding Ryan's Deadpool wave, using their adorable marriage as a stepping stone to keep herself in the conversation. Every time she needed a career boost, boom, another viral post about their hilarious relationship. But now, the old tricks aren't working. Because here's the truth, Blake Lively was never an A-list actress. She was a CW star trying to break into serious Hollywood roles, and her best bet at making that happen was attaching herself to Reynolds. Now that his reputation is tanking, Blake's future is looking shaky. And this Baldoni lawsuit? It's making sure people finally start asking the one question she never wanted to answer. What does Blake Lively even do? And without Ryan's PR machine covering for her, she's got no answer. The thing about Hollywood? It protects its own until it doesn't. For years, Reynolds and Lively had the industry behind them. Directors, actors, journalists. Everyone played along because they were useful. But now, the tide is turning. Directors don't want to work with Reynolds. Actors are calling him out. Even his exes are confirming what people suspected all along.